And welcome back to Times Square today. I'm your host, Bob Guinea. Joining me is the Hope guy, Jimmy Greene. Jimmy, I have heard about you for so long.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have you here on the show with us. The Hope guy, right?
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
inspires me right out of the gates.
Yeah.
I love hearing it.
Yeah.
What does Hope stand for?
Yeah, hope I learned stands for hold on, possibilities exist.
Yeah.
Now you and I and everybody out there, generally we get hope by HOPE, hearing other people's experiences.
Yeah.
So, as a former counselor in the emergency room, my job basically when someone comes to an emergency room, they're basically out of hope.
Right.
So my vocation, if you will, wasn't even a job, it was my calling to do this, because I pivoted from studying for the Catholic priesthood,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
2 years and then boom, So I became an undercover priest, if you will.
Wow.
And I hoped fully inspired a lot of people. So that's why I go with the moniker Hope Guy,
I
because,
love it.
I've also been there myself.
Yeah.
We can
Well, hasn't everyone? I mean,
yeah,
you were a crisis intervention counselor, to be
Yes.
specific.
This is correct.
And I think I read that about you and I was like, wow, I bet Jimmy has seen some stuff, and I can only imagine what you have endured and how the toll it can take on you personally as well.
Yeah, I think I underestimated the toll it did take on me.
Sure.
Personally, because I was the type of guy, like if someone came in and let's say they were suicidal,
Yeah.
let's say my shift ended at 11, sometimes I was there till 1, 2 in the morning.
Sure.
Because I felt so
It was important to you.
important that
Yeah.
they got to safety
Yeah.
before I went home. And other colleagues would say, hey, Jim, you're supposed to go home. And but no, that's not the way the Hope Guy operates.
No way.
Gets you where you got to go.
Yeah.
But like I said, if you want to get it, whatever you want to talk about, I was severely depressed about 8 years ago.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't be talking to you, to be very honest. I'm very blessed to be here, here in beautiful, Times Square with a guy like you,
Man, it's amazing.
who's inspired to find experts or people that are out there that are trying to help other people.
No, I love it. I love that you were studying for the priesthood and then you
Yeah.
transitioned
Yeah.
into what you do now.
Yeah.
I was talking about this earlier before you sat down with me. I feel like all eyes now, especially at this stage in the game, post-COVID,
Yes.
people pay a lot more attention to mental health and wellness,
Yeah.
probably than they ever have, right?
Yeah.
And back in the day, it was almost a taboo topic.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, with your experience having gone through some of
Yeah.
that stuff yourself, are you at this point now where you feel like you see all eyes are on this and it gives you an opportunity to really talk about it?
Absolutely. I think the more we put, if you will, an anti-stigma bent,
Yeah.
and I don't like the anti-stigma thing. I just think, look, you got to be able to understand that this is a normal part of life.
Right.
Normalize it. It's not anything to be ashamed of, I mean, I was a counselor for 30 years and I wasn't immune to it.
Right.
But the reason I say it, and you have to be a little vulnerable, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not ashamed of it. I played football 14 years. I was a punt returner, well, who
Wow.
cares?
Yeah.
These guys are coming down barreling, football was nothing compared to what clinical depression did.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, thank God for my wife and my family and my kids, we're, supportive. So
Right.
I tell my story because of that. Like if I didn't tell you, like 8 years ago, it was all I could do to drive my wife to work and my kids to school and just wallow in depression.
Man.
And I'll tell you, the more worse, and I know a lot of people out there, the worst part is not so much even the depression, it's the anxiety
Right.
that's accompanies.
About the depression.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they go hand in hand.
Sure.
Two of the biggest things I think, well, certainly for me, the biggest killers I tell my patients a lot of times is two things. It's guilt and shame.
Yeah.
When you can't take care of your family, you start to feel like, wow,
Well,
what?
isn't that the truth?
That's why I talk about hope, because
Yeah.
it doesn't come to stay. It does pass.
Right.
It's like anything else. If I told you, hey, if you don't take your insulin for diabetes, you might lose some toes or
Right,
limb,
yeah,
God
yeah, yeah.
forbid, you would do it.
Sure.
So, sometimes we all need a help along the way. And
Yeah.
that's my mission. That's your mission. That's why we're here today.
No, I love it. I mean,
Happy to-
and you're a Jersey guy, right? So you grew up in Jersey.
Hoboken.
We always think like these Jersey guys, you guys are tough dudes. And
Yeah.
so for the fact that someone like you can be vulnerable about
Yeah.
your feelings, I think it probably gives people a little more of an open opportunity. Like, oh, if Jimmy can do it, I guess I can do it too, right?
Yeah, I can tell you that, I've had people come up to me over the years, this tough, so-called tough football player from Hoboken, New Jersey. I've had people come up, men and women, saying, "Hey, Jim, 10 years ago, you saved my life. You sent me to detox."
Yeah.
Or, Jim, you saved me here or there. And I always say, look, I was just a conduit.
Right.
I really work for the Lord.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
still am an undercover priest.
I love
They don't
that.
even know.
They don't know. They don't even know. You're man of the cloth without, yeah.
I think the world needs that.
Sure. Oh, heck yeah.
I was so down and trodden, as an aside, but I was so upset when I left. I chose to leave of my own volition. And I went to my spiritual director, and he's now, he's a bishop, he's retired, but I said, man, I quit on God. I'm so depressed. What am I going to do now with my life? Blah, blah, blah. He said, listen, Jimmy, let me tell you something. And he was a Jersey guy
Yeah.
too. He said, listen, man, with this collar, there's certain places that I can go to make a difference.
Right.
But without this collar, there's places you can go that I can't and still make a difference.
It's true, man.
Right?
That's
and that
true.
changed the whole trajectory of the rest of my career.
Your calling became, in a way, bigger.
Yes.
Maybe not. You know what I mean? Not the biggest.
No,
calling.
not yet. But absolutely.
Yeah.
He saved me
Right.
by telling me that, because he gave me an ability to like basketball, right? You pivot, or
Yeah.
football, you cut. Well, I had to cut right instead of cutting left.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And so the thing about what I want to do now is just try to, there's a lot of people out there,
Yeah.
that are
Struggle.
struggling.
Yeah.
They're depressed. They're anxious. They're not sure what's happening in society. Chris Voss's talk last night about listening to each other
Yeah.
and understanding. We're not, okay, it is what it is, but it's not gonna ruin us.
Right.
We're
We're not that
going
different, even though we have different.
Yeah, we can,
Yeah.
we can have. So I think that's the world needs a message. It's funny. I was telling the guy my story the other night, and I was doing some work, and he said to me, and I took this as a very high compliment. He said, Jim, we need 100 more hope guys.
Yeah.
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 And I like using the moniker Hope Guy instead of my name,
Sure.
Jim Greene, because it's not about me.
Right.
It's not really about me.
Yeah.
When I go, whether I'm speaking, coaching, my mission is the same. How do I get you from where you are to where you want to go or need to go?
Right.
Whether it be, struggling to find one's vocation
Yeah.
in life,
Yeah.
right? I struggled with it. I said, okay, discern the priesthood. That didn't work out the way I thought it would. So now I got to go this way. So I usually tell people, especially young people, I always ask this question: what's your passion?
Right.
Right? Because
Right.
it really starts there, for us,
Sure.
doesn't it?
Yeah. And you think it's going to be your passion forever.
Yeah.
As well, right? So what's your passion today could be different from 2 years from now.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. That's
Right.
a pivot. It's a cut.
It's a cut.
I mean,
Yeah.
my career ended because I broke my leg in college. And then the next year I came back. I could only play 6 games. And the coaches were like, why are you leaving? I said, look, man, I'm a dead man walking out here.
Yeah.
I can't cut anymore.
Right.
My ligaments
Something's gonna
didn't
give.
heal. I
Yeah.
said, look, so that's life.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, Frank Sinatra, right, from my hometown,
Heck
born
yeah.
and raised, right? I got to throw Frank in it.
Yeah,
right?
Frankie, baby.
Came over here for a reason, to say, hey, look, I got to make it over there, and little. But his song, That's Life, it talks, I've been up and down and over and out. That's
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
right? And you
Such
think
a
about
great
it, it's
song,
like
too.
sort of like this.
Oh, it is up and down, over and out.
See, I can only go halfway because I didn't make it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you this.
Yes.
You've had, I'm sure, hundreds and thousands of people, who know you as the Hope Guy, who love you and love your experiences. And you're a great storyteller.
Yeah.
I could listen to you all day.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
When you're talking with someone, can you give us an example of someone who came to you and you thought, man, this might be more than I can handle, and you were still able to inspire them and turn them around?
Yeah, I had a woman, as I said, years ago that came up to me. I was out shopping with my wife, and my wife's Latin. She's Puerto Rican and Sicilian. I sleep with one eye open. But so this woman says, "Hey, are you Jim Greene?" And I'm looking around.
You're like,
I said,
no,
not really. No, but I obviously said, "Yes, I am." And she said, about 15 years ago, you saved my life. I was gonna end my life. And I said, well, what happened? And she said something to the effect, well, I was in a bad relationship. And I was telling the psychiatrist at the time, I want to be in the hospital. They said, no, you go over to the emergency room, talk to this guy, Jim.
No
She was
kidding.
like, what are you talking about?
Wow.
And then she came over and she told me the story, and my wife. You gave me 2 books. You told me a leopard never changes its spots.
Yeah.
She was in, this.
This guy's not going to change.
It's not going to change.
No.
Not, so, and then, the kicker was she eventually found hope, and got married again, and the rest is history.
I love that. I
So-
love that.
And I could say some stories like that where people, it's more gratifying than gold, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Heck yeah.
Like to know that in giving of myself that people receive and I receive.
Right.
And
Yeah, you get a lot out of that
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
St. Francis of Assisi, right?
Right.
Back in the day, he said, it's in giving that we receive.
Right.
People want to take, but it's not about that.
No.
We were talking on an earlier podcast, about happiness is an inside job.
Right.
We're all looking outside, right? A lot of times the world
Sure.
says, hey, get this car and you'll be the coolest guy in town. Or
Yeah.
wear this suit or do this, that. But it's inside to the extent that we look outside,
Right.
right? It's the same extent we're kind of doomed.
Got to do the work in here first, right?
It's
Yeah.
inner peace.
You're only as good. You only can give
Yeah.
what you're good at getting. Right? Like what you are able to give is from your own personal happiness. Yeah.
There's this little village I go to. I just was over there. It's in Bosnia. It's called Medjugorje. It's kind of a spiritual place. I won't get into the whole thing, but the message there is you have to have first peace in one's heart.
Yeah.
And then when you have peace in your heart, then I can give it to you.
Yeah.
And then it'll spread to our families,
Right.
right? This is what the world needs. Sort of,
Right.
And then and only then we will have a world peace.
Yeah.
Because we got to be at peace with ourselves.
Gosh, that's so
It's
true.
not rocket science.
No. It seems simple.
Seems simple.
Man, it's hard to do, isn't it?
Surrender is what it is.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to be vulnerable. It comes back full circle.
That's what we were saying earlier.
Yeah, you surrender.
Yeah.
Because I say to my patients too, acceptance is the key to all our problems today, or my problems.
Yeah.
Once I accept that one's an alcoholic, let's say I'm not, but I'm just saying, I would get them to that point where, hey, listen, you have 2 options here. You could stay where you are
Yeah.
and lose everything, or lose more, or perhaps unto your life,
Right.
or you can go this way and better your life and
Yeah.
and get back on track. So,
And feel a sense of accomplishment.
and a lot of people did it.
Yeah.
They took, and again, so that's what I mean. I was a conduit. I wasn't saving them. I work for God.
That's right.
I don't take the credit,
Tell me what HOPE stands for again.
Hope stands for hold on, possibilities exist. That if you and I get hope by, again, HOP,
Yeah.
hearing other people's experiences. This is why AA and NA and GA and all these places are so effective.
Yeah.
Because you sit in a room with other people, like, let's say, yo, man, that guy's eating out of a garbage can. This
Yeah.
guy lost his house. Everything's lost.
Yeah.
But when people get into recovery, they say, oh, this guy's 30 years in recovery.
Yeah.
That's my sponsor. That's a guy. That's my mentor.
Right.
Because mentors are so important
Amen.
in our lives.
No doubt about it.
I mean, if it weren't for mentors in my life, man, my dad was a firefighter. His three brothers were all firemen in Hoboken, 3 Army, 1 Navy. And then my high school football coach, Ed Agresta, is a speaker too.
Yeah.
Big mentor. Mentors are so important, and I think that's what we need too. Remember, we used to have the mentor program.
Yeah.
The boys, the girls,
Big brothers and big sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big brothers. Stuff. It's like, again, simple stuff. Back to basics. is
Yeah.
the right thing.
But Jimmy, man, I love it. I love your message. I love the hope. I love how you have hope coming and going. The way you're describing it, 2 different ways to look at the same word.
Live in the joy of the Lord.
Wow.
Just giving it out, bro.
We're lucky to have you, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, how would people watching the show get a hold of you? How can they contact you? And
Yeah, it's just go to the Hope Guy, the Hope HOPEGUY guy.org.
all right, I love it.
Google, I don't know, Jim Greene, the Hope Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, we're gonna help a lot of people,
I love it.
and that's the main thing. It's more than anything else. That's what they're calling me to do, and it's not me. It's my vocation. I'm pivoted to this.
I love it, man.
We can help more people. I hope I helped thousands in 30 years of what I did. We're gonna help hopefully millions together.
Buddy, I'm telling you, listening to you today makes me feel a lot of hope. It really does.
really
I
do.
appreciate you. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you for joining us on the show. And
And pray for
I have a
them.
feel. I will.
Puerto Ricans.
You got it. Yeah, I love that. Sleep with one eye open. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Thanks a lot.
We will be back with more Times Square today. Stick with us.